Democrats are mischaracterizing the Supreme Court's historic ruling on presidential immunity, and Senator John Kennedy isn't having it. In a fiery Senate hearing, the Louisiana Republican called out the left's wild misinterpretation of the Trump versus United States decision. Was this ruling really a free pass for presidents, or are Democrats twisting the truth? Stick around, we're breaking it all down. Oh, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more unfiltered analysis from Capitol conservatives. Democrats are claiming the Supreme Court's 6-3 ruling means, when the president does it, it's legal.
I now turn to Senator Kennedy, ranking member of the court subcommittee, for his opening statement. Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks to all our panelists today. With respect, I don't agree with the way our esteemed chairman has characterized this hearing today. He refers to the Trump v. U.S. opinion, a 6-3 opinion, by the way, of the United States Supreme Court, as, quote, when the president does it, that means it's not illegal, end quote. I do not believe that is a fair reading of the opinion.
But Senator Kennedy just dropped the hammer, calling that a fundamental misreading of the opinion. Here's the truth. The court never said presidents have blanket immunity. In fact, they outlined 3 clear tiers of presidential authority. Let's dive in. First, unofficial acts like private business dealings, no immunity. Second, core constitutional duties like pardons or commanding the military, total immunity. But the biggest category? Acts where Congress shares authority with the president. For those, prosecutors must prove charges wouldn't intrude on executive function. That's not a get-out-of-jail-free card, it's a balance of power.
And frankly, I don't understand how anyone who's read the opinion, which I reread this weekend, it's only about 90 or so pages, could reach that conclusion. I know many people look at this opinion, and it is their right. This is America. We can believe what we want. I know many people look at this opinion through the lens of former President Trump and whether they like him or dislike him. The court, in its opinion, was very careful to point out that its opinion, more than anything else, was about the institution of the presidency. The institution of the presidency. The opinion is not just about the litigants in front of the court. It's about future presidents and future Americas. That's point one.
Kennedy didn't hold back. The burden of proof is always on the prosecutor. Well, duh. He slammed the left for ignoring the ruling's real focus, protecting future presidents from partisan prosecutions. Think about it. If the roles were reversed, would Democrats be crying absolute immunity? Drop a clap in the comments if you agree.
Point two. It is inaccurate to say, under Trump v. U.S., that a president of the United States has absolute immunity to do anything that he or she wants. That's just not accurate. For example, the court is very clear in saying that a president does not have criminal immunity, including but not limited to a former president, for unofficial private acts. That's clear. I don't see how anybody can argue with it. Number two, the court does say that a president, whoever that president might be, does have absolute immunity for acts performed pursuant to his or her core responsibilities. Responsibilities given exclusively to a president by virtue of the Constitution.
This isn't just about Trump. The left's hysterical spin is setting the stage to weaponize the Department of Justice against any Republican president. Kennedy warned the court's decision safeguards the presidency itself, not the person, but the media won't tell you that. Want more truth bombs? Subscribe now. We cut through the spin every day.
But there's a third category, which I would suggest will include most acts by a president. Those are acts taken pursuant to a president's authority, but authority that is also shared with the United States Congress. And the court does not say that a president cannot be prosecuted criminally for those acts. It does not. It does say that if a prosecutor, the prosecution, if it wants to prosecute a former president for that layer or category of acts, the burden of proof is on the prosecutor. Well, duh, the burden of proof is always on the prosecutor. You can call it presumptive immunity, but the burden of proof is always on the state. And the state has to prove that the president's prosecution for that middle layer of acts would not impinge, I think the words would pose no, quote, no danger of intrusion on the authority and function of the executive branch. Now, that's hardly absolute immunity. And I'm looking forward to our panel today to enlighten us on this subject. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Democrats want you to believe the sky is falling. But the Supreme Court's ruling is common sense. Presidents aren't kings, but they do need protection from political hit jobs. Huge thanks to Senator Kennedy for setting the record straight. Smash like, share this video, and subscribe, because Capitol Conservatives doesn't just report the news, we debunk the lies. See you in the next one.